guys, this is a tutorial for those of you that have a unicorn donut canvas at home. So I'm going to be showing the basic way to create your canvas and also giving a tutorial on how to paint a cloud scape background for your canvas. The clouds are definitely for kids that are older. I would suggest if you have a preschooler or a younger grade schooler to just let them enjoy painting their background any way they would like with the colors provided. They could use all the colors. They can also then glue on any of the sparkles that are in the kit or even additional sparkles that you may have at home. After the background is painted, you will use a hot glue gun, works best, or you could use tacky glue. You would just need to wait for that to dry, and you will glue on your donut unicorn. I just put some hot glue on the back and on the top and then just center it. You would do that after the background is completely dry. You can use regular glue, tacky glue. These are kind of small to try to use hot glue, and then you can glue these on around the donut. The last step would be to add any lettering like we have here on the example. This was done with a small paintbrush. You could use a Sharpie. You can write it for your child and then have them paint over it, or you don't even need to have any words on it. That is completely optional. Another step that is optional is to attach a ribbon so that you can hang your canvas up. A couple of ways to do this are to staple it here and here, or you can use hot glue. Usually the hot glue holds. If it doesn't hold, then you could change it to stapling it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue one on this one right there, and then I'll put the other one, my cord is not reaching, right there. And we'll let that dry. All right, so I'm gonna do a quick demonstration of how to paint a cloudscape background. I have a variety of brushes over here. If you don't even have artist brushes, you could use a brush for wall paint. This is a pretty forgiving project. The first step is to take whatever sky color you want. It can be traditional blue, like what I'm gonna show you. This was a pink sky. If you wanted to do like a multicolored sky, you could do that. You would just, instead of painting all one color, right now you would be painting multiple colors. And you're going to work pretty quickly. So you don't want the paint to completely dry before you start your clouds. So I'm probably not going to do the whole canvas, just most of it. I always like to paint the edges. That's up to you. It just gives the canvas a little more finished look if you're gonna hang it up on the wall. So, looks like I might have time to finish this. So when you make clouds, it is really just a lot of layering of white on top of your background. There's many, many techniques to paint clouds. This is a very, very simple way to paint clouds. Kids start painting clouds at a very young age. A lot of times they are kind of like a bumpy circular blob that they draw with pencil or crayon. So this is sort of a first step in just making them appear a little bit more realistic. So once your background is pretty much painted, you can dip your brush that you're using, or you can switch to another brush. I'm actually going to show you guys how well this works with a foam brush. You can dip a brush in and you're going to just start tapping on clouds. And instead of making them in a circle, they're sort of almost horizontal with like a little bit of puffiness in different spots. And you're just going to keep tapping. I've only dipped my brush in once. There's quite a bit of paint that gets absorbed, so you can just keep tapping until you feel like you need more paint on your brush. You can go over the edge too if you want. And it's also fun to look, if it's a cloudy day with like blue skies and puffy clouds, it's really fun to go outside if it's nice and you can look at the sky and actually see the different shapes of clouds. And you can look at pictures on the internet. One thing to keep in mind is that these are sort of like a cumulus cloud. They tend to be sort of flat along the bottom, and then it looks like they're like exploding up with the puffiness. So you kind of want to keep that in mind, that most of your like roundness and puffiness is going to go up from that bottom kind of edge, and then it goes up. And there's really, I mean, this is not an exact science. Clouds are constantly changing in the sky. So you can kind of talk about clouds with your kids. You guys can go outside for a walk, find fun shapes in the sky with your clouds. So this is with a foam brush and it works great. You can also just use a regular brush like this. Very similar. It adds maybe a little different texture. So you can like switch brushes, go back over and into your clouds again with some more tapping, tap, tap, tap. And you're just gonna continue to tap like this. If you wanna add any wispy clouds, you can really gently just kind of do that motion. But I do think the puffy clouds are really fun for the donut unicorn to be floating in the sky. So as this starts to dry, that's when you can go in with some brighter white areas and really make the clouds have some bright white spots with maybe some thicker paint. So you can even step away for a little bit, let it dry completely, and then come back and add more. I can show you guys some of that, except this has a little bit of blue paint. But if I were to go in here, I can even go into these clouds and make them, and make them brighter by adding some more color now that it's totally dry. So that is a very simple cloud tutorial. Remember to use a tapping motion. You're not really painting like this, you're tapping in your clouds. And to do lots of layers, you can let it dry and go back to create brighter white spots in your clouds. Once this is completely dry, you would glue on your unicorn. You can add your sparkles around it with some glue, and then you can paint your inspirational message at the bottom, at the top, on the side, however you would want. You would want to use a smaller brush, approximately this size, or a marker, like a permanent marker, a Sharpie would work as well. Or you can just have no words on it. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for supporting Create during this shelter at home time, and stay tuned for more fun art projects.